Welcome to week 6 of our Victory Series podcast. This week we're talking about victory from my hurts. And to think that something good can come out of the hurts and the bad things that we've been through. It's really hard to think about that. But I think what we're going to learn as we look at this, that is, if you will turn everything over to Jesus, including the hurts, that he can use them to do some good in your life and good in the lives of others around us.
Yeah. And this is great news because you may feel alone and like you're the only one dealing with a hurt or a difficulty. But the fact is, we all have hurts, habits, hang-ups. We all have circumstances that are tough at one time or another. So it's great news that we can have victory over those hurts and see God actually use bad things for good.
Yeah. And here in Galatians, it asks the question, have you experienced so much for nothing? Surely it was not in vain, was it? And that's the question we ask ourselves while we're going through this. Why am I going through? What good can come of this? Yeah. But we're going to look a little bit in here in 2 Corinthians and see what Paul tells us and how the Lord can use it.
Yeah, I love it. What a great verse. 2 Corinthians 1, 8 and 9, 2 verses. Paul's kind of reminding people what he has gone through. Mm-hmm. We were crushed and overwhelmed beyond our ability to endure, and we thought we would never live through it. Never live through it. In fact, we expected to die, but as a result, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God, who raises the dead. Mm-hmm. And what a reminder that I think we draw closer to God when we realize we're powerless.
Yeah.
I mean, we got nothing. So we need God.
Yeah. And the other thought there is that, unfortunately, the thing that drives us to our knees sometimes, the thing that makes us open the Bible and actually start reading it, is that hurt and that pain. And while we're in the midst of that, that is what enables us to draw closer to God.
Yeah. So, gosh, you may be desperate. You may be feeling powerless, but that's not as bad as it sounds, right? Because it is an opportunity for us to draw closer to God.
Yeah.
Number 2, we're in Galatians. I can use my pain to draw closer to others. Galatians 6:2, share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ.
Yeah. That goes all the way back to the way the church began in the book of Acts. And it said that, they brought everything they had and shared it, and then no one was in need. And so the same way, we have these hurts and these pains that we've gone through, but we can use what the Lord has done to us to help us draw closer to each other, because we can begin to empathize with what they've gone through.
Yeah. And the deepest friendships that I have are ones where we've gone through stuff together.
Yeah.
They've been there for me in hard times, and I've been there for them in hard times. And, those are valuable friendships that I'm thankful for, and those are lasting friendships.
Yeah, we see it all the time in Celebrate Recovery, that after, because we're going through something and we can come together in groups, and it really, it makes everybody stronger when we're going through that together instead of going through it alone.
Yeah. So awesome. We can draw closer to God. We can draw closer to others. Number 3, I can use my pain to become more like Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 7:11. And now, isn't it wonderful all the ways in which this distress has goaded you closer to God? Yeah. Isn't this great?
Yeah.
This distress, but it did goad you closer to God. You're more alive, more concerned, more sensitive, more reverent, more human, more passionate, more responsible. Looked at from any angle, you've come out of this with purity of heart. And we went to this conference last week, and one of the sessions was so powerful because it was about truly being present for others, whether you agree with them or not, whether you like them or not, whether they're your friend or your enemy. how can we sit down and just be truly present for others? And sometimes an opportunity for that is a hardship or a painful situation where there's an opportunity to, be more sensitive, more reverent, more passionate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what we all want? To be more like Jesus? Wouldn't that be the greatest compliment that we could ever receive? But sometimes it takes that hurt and that pain to make us more like Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, number 4, I can use my pain to help others.
Mm-hmm.
Another great passage from 2 Corinthians. And of course, Paul's the perfect guy to be sharing this stuff.
Man.
Because
everything he went through.
it.
Right. Everything he went through. Yeah. But yet, in the end, I mean, the scriptures that he left us are some of the most powerful, most impactful ones in our lives. Because we can know that with what he went through, yet the Lord still used him to change lives for generation to generation to generation.
That's right. That's right. That's heavy duty. 2 Corinthians 1:4-6. He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. For the more we suffer for Christ, the more God will shower us with his comfort through Christ. Even when we're weighed down with troubles, it is for your comfort and salvation. For when we ourselves are comforted, we will certainly comfort you. Then you can patiently endure the same things we suffer. Mm-hmm. And it's that sort of paradox where you can't enjoy comfort without experiencing discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't appreciate the light without going through the darkness.
Yeah. Right.
So, and what a responsibility we have that we have to be God's comfort to others.
Yeah, right. We are the light in the darkness at times when someone is going through that really dark. Us being able to walk in and be a part of their lives is what allows them to lift their head. Mm-hmm. And that's what God desires for us to be in those situations.
That's authentic community. I mean, that's real relationships that mean something. And number 5, I can use my pain to witness to the world. Philippians 1:12. This is Paul again, writing from a prison.
Right.
Saying, I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me here has helped to spread the good news.
Yeah, this is where I tell people, know your testimony. Like, if you need to write it down, if you need to rehearse it, because it is the victory that you have received over those hard times, may be the very thing that the Lord uses to change someone else's life. And I think that's what Paul is telling us here.
That's so good. And yeah, I'm trying to just change my perspective that, it's not about the bad time that I'm going through. It's about the opportunity that bad time can present, so that I can use it for some of these good things that we've talked about, including sharing my faith and God's faithfulness with others.
Yeah, knowing what he's done, and then not being ashamed of sharing it. Yeah, in our past, we may have some very difficult times that we might be a little embarrassed about, but getting to the point that we are confident enough to share it, it truly may be the one thing that will save someone else's life.
That's a great point. And there are times where I feel like my sharing something I've been through in God's faithfulness, no one wants to hear that. And yet there are times where God has used that, and it's been important to do that.
Yep.
So, very good. Well, these are awesome things. I love the last verse on the outline, 2 Corinthians 4:16-18. That is why we never give up. Though our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed every day. There's a hopefulness there. There's an encouragement there. And so maybe one practical thing we can do is we all know somebody who is hurting.
Yes.
We all know somebody who's going through a painful situation, a trial, a bad circumstance. Take some time to just reach out to that person, maybe a simple text, a simple email, a phone call. Take them to lunch, whatever it is. You don't have to have all the answers.
Yeah, you don't have to be the one to solve the problem, but letting them know you care.
Yep, there is power in that.
Yep.
And that's an opportunity for God to turn a bad thing into a good thing.